operations. Be ready.
Hey guys, Veebat here with another Veeplays, taking a look at the Tier VII Japanese Premium Multi-Role known as the J4M. The J4M was originally designed to be an intercept platform, as the Japanese had a lot of issues with trying to counter American bomber flights. They just couldn't get up to the altitudes necessary in order to take out the large strategic bomber platforms that the US had, as we started to gain territory across the Pacific and building up staging bases for using aircraft such as the B-29. This is going to be important to note as we go through and take a look at this airplane, because that intercept role is kind of what you see coming into play a lot for this airframe. Despite the altitude performance being relatively low because it is a multi-role, this thing doesn't really care about that. It seems like the climb performance allows this thing to be able to skyrocket up to altitudes you wouldn't normally expect, and then be able to boost up to higher speeds when it needs to go after a target. A lot of this is going to be a trade-off for the boom and zoom tactic, so you'll climb up to higher altitudes, you'll store up some energy, and then you'll trade it for airspeed as you dive down on that target. The gun performance, comparing it quickly to the 190A8, the gun performance is actually going to be much less than what you saw with the 190A8. It doesn't mean it isn't strong, it's just that you are looking at a 30mm cannon that's going to be doing about half of your overall damage, but only has a range of about 1,900 feet, compared to the 2,400 feet from the two 20mm cannons that are producing the other half of your damage. So if you want to use this effectively, you're going to have to try and get all of those guns to overlap. The bombs on this aircraft, I don't advocate equipping. There's a 180-second reload, which is 3 times the reload time it takes to reload the Focke-Wulf 190A8's bomb. Although you get 2 of them, the trade-off really isn't there. Trying to go after this RB-17, not realizing that he's up at ridiculous altitudes right now, but you can see that I'm up to nearly 10,000 feet right now, and despite the fact that I'm losing airspeed, I'm able to stay up here and I'm not falling out of the sky. The stall speed is 99 miles an hour, but even at 160 I was still able to roll this thing over fairly easily in order to come back down, and I'm trading that for speed right now. Alright, we captured this zone. I'm gonna go ahead and divert my attentions back to the center where it looks like we're contested right now. This is about the time I realize I'm at 9,000 feet and decide to tuck that nose down and try and trade it for some airspeed, which we get back relatively quickly. I see that Hornet on my bomber and I would love to be able to help him, so I'm trying to build up some speed, but I know I'm not going to be able to catch him in time. So I decide to direct my attention downwards to try and help out my air defense aircraft here and take out this Corsair as he was coming across my field of view. Again, we're going to try and go after this Hornet. I'm worried he's going to kill my bomber, because if he takes out my bomber, we're probably going to lose a lot of the progress on capturing this garrison, and he's so low on health. Then I realized that if I kill this Hornet, that'll actually capture the zone and keep the B-32 from dying to AA fire. There we go, we get the guns to hit, take out the aircraft, and capture the zone. I'm going to try and go after this ground attacker now, doing more of a ground intercept, boom and zoom if you would. I want to be cheeky here and try and do a bomb trap on him, because what else am I going to use these bombs for? There isn't much to capture right now. But it looks like he's turned, so I'll just use the guns to finish him off. Well, I was going to highlight the climbing capability there, but it looks like the 109Z was taken out. But again, able to get up to our 5,000 foot mark relatively easily. And it just feels nice to fly. The thing turns perfectly well. It's about this point I realized that that RB-17 is really far away and has been flying at 10,000 feet the entire match, which is ill-advised because despite the fact that you're going to have higher survivability because no one's going to be able to get to you, your bomb spread is going to be so drastic that it's just not going to do any damage once it hits the ground. You're just going to be spread out too much. So I decided to ignore that aircraft because he's no longer a threat. Oswald and the Hornet has come back and it looks like he wants to go after my B-32 again. So I'm back to where I was before, trying to intercept and keep my B-32 alive. But the damage output on these guns isn't nearly what I would like it to be. And he manages to take out my B-32. I do have the cannons on the 20mm cannons on a separate key, and then I still have my left mouse button controls all of the guns, so I was using the 20s at range, and once we got closer and we were on his tail and we had good overlap, then I utilized the 30s to finish him off. Nearly 500 in the dive without using any boost really. Let's go ahead and get an up and over because we are getting trailed right now by an airframe. But it looks like he's diverted. It was that Kai 84. And the J7W gets him with those 430s.
Receiving reports about rapidly deteriorating.
Managed to capture this zone, and they already got our rocket base.
Do you read me? Over.
Going head to head with a Su-9, probably not my best decision. There we go. Oh, and I don't know if that's the same Corsair from earlier, but he got revenge on us. We'll go ahead and do a respawn. Now, unfortunately for me, I click on the airfield and I hit battle, but it respawns me back at the start. If you're going to try and respawn, make sure that when you hit that battle button that the correct one's highlighted because it'll revert back as you change screens. It's kind of a pain. It was too late to try and go back towards that airfield because only if I had respawned there and was able to get on one of those aircraft very quickly could I have saved it. So at this point I gotta head towards the middle. It just makes sense. That zone's locked anyways. I do have some bombs left, so I figured I could drop them here, but we had already captured it, so this was the only instance where dropping the bombs would have been really effective or useful. Again, I'm at higher altitude, so it's less of a factor, so I'm going to strip those off of here after this battle, and we're not going to use the bombs anymore. Cool. Barely was able to get Ethan there. Started to overtake him before the guns could finish him off. Now, to be totally fair here, the only premium Tier 7 aircraft I have are the Focke-Wulf 190A8, this airframe, the 302 Russian rocket plane, and the VB-10. So all of my comparisons, majority of them are going to be to the 190A8 because they're both multi-role Tier 7 premiums. I have heard really good things about the Meteor, which is a British Tier 7 multi-role, or fighter aircraft rather. But honestly, I think I have enough Tier 7 premiums at this point. I think they're kind of a weird half step, and I prefer that if I were to, I trade all of these for one Tier 8 premium aircraft, to be honest with you, because a Tier 8 premium aircraft is going to make so many more credits compared to what this airframe can do. Climbing up for one last kill here. No, didn't quite get it. Looks like Brian got that kill. But it was Oswald, our old friend from earlier. I like the look of this plane. The twin boom pusher prop design's neat. And if you notice on the bottom left, it actually has the outline of the XP-55 on the bottom left for the aircraft model. So that's a little bit interesting. Let's go ahead and get back to the hangar, and we'll review this airframe and compare it to some other platforms that I have at Tier 7 for premium aircraft. Alright, so here we have the end results screen. 10,000 plus personal score, 138,000 credits. All in all, a good fight, and we built up about 10,000 experience on the pilot. Not too shabby. This is a good experience training platform. So the only reason I would advocate getting a Tier 7 premium aircraft, if you're going to spend the money, is that you're doing it because you want to have a crew training platform. You have 2 Japanese pilots you're working towards Tier 10 on. You love the Japanese aircraft. You want them. This is your nationality you're going to run with. The J8M is a very difficult plane to fly. It earns a lot of credits, and you'll get a lot of experience once you figure it out and you can use it effectively. But it takes a while. This is not a great plane for a new Tier 8 premium pilot to be flying. And you may have some buyer's remorse just because it's so hard to get used to it. But once you do, it'll be good. The J4M is going to be easy. No real thinking about it. You fly it like you would a heavy fighter, just a little bit lower altitude. It reminds me a lot of the Kai 45 and the Kai 102, especially when you start talking about the maneuverability and stuff. So, like, maneuverability is going to be the same, 12.3, 12.3. The cannons here, the 37, is going to have relatively similar shell velocity to what you see on the 30mm on the J4M. The J4M's 30 is a much shorter range, just like the Kai 102 and the Kai 45's gun. It's going to be 1,900 feet for the 30mm Type 2 that you see on the J4M. That's very short. That means that the 20mm are going to be the ones reaching out to further range. And about half of your damage comes from that 30. So you're going to need to get those guns all on target at one time. And you'll know what I'm talking about if you've flown on the Japanese heavy line. But you're going to be able to get up to good altitudes, good performance, and you'll be able to take out targets. Out of all of my Tier 7 premiums, I'd say that the J4M is probably going to be the easiest to fly. And I got the 302 rocket plane, I've got the Focke-Wulf 190 I did a video on, and the VB10. But when you look at the J4M is going to be the easiest transition into, just because it has pretty good turn time. It has really good climb performance. The climb performance on this is absolutely fantastic. It's going to be 400... Where are you at? 454 feet per second. Comparing that to the Focke-Wulf, which is 314, man, you're going to be able to skyrocket. And that's why we're able to get up to those 9,000 foot marks in this plane and do just fine. Comparing that with the VB10, there's no comparison. The VB10 is meant for sustained speed and, using that firepower to kind of catch people unaware. It's a different platform, but the climb performance on this is fantastic, and it really highlights what this aircraft was designed for and how they've modeled it in the game. This was meant to be an interceptor to go after American bombers. As we started to get more island bases out in the Pacific, it allowed us to be able to forward stage B-29s and fly in those strategic big bomber flights, and the Japanese didn't have a good counter for that, so that's when they started developing a lot of these kind of off-the-wall designs, the J4M being one of them. The bombs. Don't advocate putting the bombs on. In fact, we're going to go ahead and hop in here to upgrades. Yeah, we've demounted the bombs. Why did we demount the bombs? Because they take 180 seconds to reload. I don't know why this thing gives this a rating of 7 on the bombs and rockets when the Focke-Wulf's only 6. The Focke-Wulf, yeah, it gets half the bomb load, but it reloads at 3 times faster reload. Like, this thing is a 60-second reload compared to 180. So this gets to operate more like a multi-role, and I think that bomb rating should be higher, but I digress. You are losing a lot of firepower compared to the Focke-Wulf 190, no doubt. But you're going to be able to outturn it, you're going to be able to outclimb it, you're going to be able to outpace it. And those 3 things are going to allow you to be able to put yourself in a situation where you're not getting shot by the Focke-Wulf 190s. So again, J4M's a lot easier to fly as a new platform compared to the 190. But if you like the 190D, like I said in the A8 video, the A8 is a good way to keep that platform around and keep flying it and train up your German crews, make some credits at the same time without having to lose a pilot, right? Because with a premium, I can throw whatever pilot I want in here without retraining it, which is what this is for. And if you want to train Japanese pilots, I think this is one of your best bets. It's a good platform. I enjoy it. I have not taken a look at the Kai 94-1. The Kai 94-1 is a heavy, like a true heavy platform. But as far as planes that have been around for a while, I think that this one's perfectly adequate. I've heard the Meteor is a much better Tier 7 Premium as well, but this is more about looking for a good Japanese trainer, and I think that this is what you should be looking for. Again, if you're looking for a credit earner, go ahead and spend the money and get a Tier 8. A Tier 8 Premium is going to print credits way more effectively than these platforms would. And there's a way to get free Tier 8 Premiums. Go ahead and finish off the missions for the 208. It's going to take some time, but this thing is fantastic. I love this platform. Another free platform was the Vampire F1. Just go through, do the missions. I don't see any indications that that mission for this airframe is going to go away, that set of missions. And when you build up enough of your supply surface tickets, tokens, whatever these are, I think they're tokens, go ahead and spend them on that and get yourself into this platform, because this is a great credit earner. And this was a free Tier 8 Premium, and this was a free Tier 8 Premium. Why not go for it? They're here. They pop up every so often. Put the effort in, save up those tickets or tokens, and get yourself one of these things in order to get a credit earner. But if you're looking for just a fun or a training platform, that's what the Tier 7 Premiums are for. But that's just my opinion. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will catch you on the next one.